Hey, y'all, welcome back to Chatting with Coach Amy. Today is a very special podcast. I'm going to be the one interviewed. So I have 5 precious group clients. Have any of y'all done one-on-one? Teresa has done one-on-one. Oh my gosh, this is so great. And I have met in person everyone but Bonnie. This is so neat. You just love so far. Oh, I haven't met Andy. I swear, I told you, I feel like I have though. I told her that when we went to the beach. Sorry, Andy. That wasn't on purpose. I told her, I was like, I keep waiting for you to walk through the door. Like, I don't know why you're not here. Okay. So Bonnie has been coaching with me without stopping since August of 2020. Liz, February 2021. Andy and Brittany, April 2021. And Teresa, July 2021. That is incredible. I was telling Wes about this, and he's like, really? And I said, yeah. He said, wow, they really love you. I was like, they do. I said, and babe, you win because you've had me for 22 years. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, so who wants to go first? Who wants to do a question? Oh, my stories. I'm so nervous. Brittany, okay.
I'll go. So, the first thing that you teach us when we become a buds is you have us weigh, measure, and then ditch the scale.
Yes.
What's the importance of ditching the scale?
Oh, good question. Okay, I can do this. The importance of ditching the scale is that you trust me and trust the plan. You don't trust the scale, because when we trust the scale, it's going to make you mad. And if it doesn't do what you want it to do, are you going to quit? Because if you are, then you're not in it for the long haul. And I just find that it is much better for us to ditch the scale. Is that a good answer?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, good. Next.
I'll go.
Go
So
ahead.
my question is, why is taking the time to prep so important for staying on plan? And what are some of your favorite prepping tips?
Okay, so it's most important to prep because our lives are insane. And if we have things prepared, and Liz is the queen of this, like I would love to see her little freezer like in real life. Heading on up there one day. But when you have those things and your life happens, because it's going to happen, you're ready. You have stuff. We have time and time again, all of us have gotten in a pinch. And if you can open up that freezer, even if it's frozen THM cookies, like I can walk in my freezer, I can open that up and get that and go, and I'm okay. I can survive until the next fueling when I get back home, or I'm going to sit down and have a meal, whatever. But that is what is most important. And also for busy moms, working women, all of that, I highly recommend having an S and an E breakfast made over the weekend or whenever, ready to go for every day, because breakfast is like one of the hardest things I see with clients. And so if you already have it done, like a 9x13 breakfast casserole, or my stars, y'all need to make those mini quiches from Trim Healthy Future. Oh my word. Who has made those?
They're so good.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I cannot even explain. And I don't get that excited about a lot, but they are incredible. So those are probably happening tomorrow sometime, because I do have time to cook. I will not have time Friday. I'm very sad about that. But other things that I really love to have ready to go are the ginger apple cider vinegar ice cubes. I don't think I've posted about that publicly, except for my Amazon post I've been doing today and yesterday. So GGMS is something that I don't do very often because I don't like getting all that mess out, and I don't want to get my measuring spoons out. So I got ice cube trays, or I've used candy molds, the silicone ones, and I'll do a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and half a teaspoon of ginger juice, so that with 2 ice cubes, I have my apple cider vinegar amount and my ginger juice amount enough for one. Does that make sense? And so once they're frozen, I just put them into a Ziploc bag, and they're in my freezer and they're ready to go. And so that's one of my favorite things that I've had ready. And then just simply knowing that I have my freshies bought and ready to eat, because y'all know I don't cut them up. That has been a funny thing.
Your cucumber.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, "You eat
Everybody
the
at
whole
work.
thing?" I'm like, I do sometimes, I think. My mama, even the other day, we were talking about it, and I was like, I just eat the whole thing. Like, I don't even cut it up. She was like, it just lays on your plate and you just eat it. I went, yeah. She was like, huh. I said, it saves time. I don't have time to cut stuff up. Thank you, Leah. That's a good question.
I thought of you today because I found really little cucumbers, like the size of your finger, like really
Yeah.
tiny. And there
Yeah.
were like 10 in a bag. And I said, that's perfect for Amy.
Yes, I probably eat 2 of those. Yes.
What's some of your favorite meals? Like your go-to meals?
For sure, tacos. I'm going to use Gwen's Nest taco seasoning. One of my one-on-ones just asked for that link. Gwen's Nest has the best seasoning, bulk seasoning recipes. You just put it all together in a jar and you got it for a long time. I, of course, use our ground venison or chicken, and just do that up. I like to add like a bag of the onion pepper blend frozen to that, kind of like a fajita situation. And that's fuel pull. And I can make S or E or keep it fuel pull, which I'm not going to do. I don't do many meals fuel pull. I just don't. It doesn't bring me joy. Other favorite meals I love, of course, crispy salmon siesta is my favorite. Trim Healthy Cookbook, page 80. Y'all probably all know that. Those mini quiches are top on the list. I love the Mexican papaya sister smoothie. I don't even open the cookbook anymore. I actually had it for supper tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna go with those. Oh, my turkey sandwich. I love her.
I can go. Why do I need to eat every 3 to 4 hours? And what if I'm not hungry when it is time?
You know what I'm gonna say. I don't care if you're hungry or not, you need a fuel. So that really hurts some buds' feelings, I think, bless them. But it's true. And if you want to lose weight, you have to get your metabolism revved up. And if you're not fueling your body, it's not going to burn your fat because it's going to be scared you're going to starve it, like you're not fueling it. So you have to eat every 3 to 4 hours. So my recommendation is to fuel within an hour of waking up and then fuel every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. And you're good to go.
Is it okay to have,
Yeah.
is it okay to have a trimmy first thing in the morning and then wait a little while before you have a meal?
Bonnie, you know I don't want to talk about that. It is permissible, but it is not beneficial for very many to do that. I really believe that women's bodies are ready to burn. And I have seen a lot of clients, actually had a one-on-one tell me today, she changed that and she lost 4 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
So I think it was a twofold thing. I think that her body was ready to burn. So she was having an S or an E first thing with the coffee, with the trimmy coffee. But she also was not fueling at 7 a.m. and then fueling again at 8:30. I just think there's a disconnect there. And I'm seeing a big pattern, as many of y'all know. Yeah, good question though. Teresa?
So there's a lot of THM information out there. It can be very overwhelming. What are your top 3 things for beginners? The top 3 things you should do to begin?
Like just to start doing THM, I think you just need to start learning what macro or fuel category foods go with. So avocados are fat. Yes, they are also a non-starchy, but I'd put those in the fat category. Chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken breast, that's a fuel pull. You can put that anywhere. Learn what non-starchy veggies are. Leafy green, most anything that's green can go anywhere too. And the next thing I would say is to take that knowledge from those fuel categories of fat, carb, and protein and begin to make your meals work for you. So if you're coming into this from the standard American diet and you're going to do crossovers where you have fat and carb in a meal, okay, fine. But I never did that. And it's becoming more common that buds are having a lot of crossovers. I'm gonna ask y'all that. When y'all came into THM, did y'all do that?
Scared of crossovers.
No, I didn't.
No
I'm still kind
crossover.
of scared of crossovers.
It's very interesting to me. But anyway, so I just did S&E, and when I came in, I just did from the cookbook, but that got old quick and I quit. And so that's where my tip, or honestly, my motto of you do not have to make everything that goes in your mouth does not have to come out of the cookbook, because it was birthed from, because I wanted to quit. I couldn't do it anymore. And that's nobody's fault, but I just had to dig in and learn the fuels of the food. And then I guess the last thing would be have breakfast, lunch, a snack, and supper. Yep. Okay.
So I'm going to ask this question only because it was one of the things that was most intimidating to me when I first got started is what are your tips for staying on plan when you travel?
Plan for sure. If you are a collagen, coffee, hot tea person, you need to get those vital proteins packets. Or you put your whatever your collagen is in that baby formula container or a Ziploc bag. I don't care what you do. But you need to make sure you got that, because anytime I don't care where you are, you can find a cup for hot tea or a coffee to put that in, and you can have some protein, because that timing is important even when you're on vacation. You need to decide, am I going to go off plan or am I going to stay on plan? Otherwise, it's going to be a rushed emotional decision, and you're probably going to have an avalanche of bad decisions. I've seen that happen many times. But if you haven't already decided that you're going to do such and such, that's what you're going to do. So I really think keeping promises to yourself, even on vacation, is important as well. And many of us have traveled and been 100% on plan. So I just encourage you guys that it is doable, because we do it all the time. And grocery delivery and pickup is wonderful when you're on vacation. Yeah.
So what is a non-scale victory, and why are they so important to our journey?
Oh, non-scale victories are victories that are not associated with the scale, which I try to focus on, as y'all know. Every Friday in group coaching, for as long as I can remember, are non-scale victory days. And many of you, I'm sure, know it's coming, and you're like, what am I going to put? And sometimes it's hard to find something. And when Brittany went through a really long stall, but she was faithful. I know probably not every Friday you posted something, but I still think you still were there and could find some things. So it may be I met my water goal, or I made a new recipe, or a lot of them are finding they're moving a notch on their watch band, tightening that thing up. One of my clients, she has one of these, the permanent bracelets, and she had to have it shortened. They had to unpermanent it, as Knox said. He said that the other day. It's permanent. Can you unpermanent it? I'm like, that's not a word. That hurt. It makes my head hurt. But they clipped it and shortened it for her. That's a non-scale victory. Compliments from coworkers, making the choice that during Teacher Appreciation Week, you walk by the teacher lounge. You do not go in. Those kind of things, non-scale victories for sure. Mm-hmm.
What are some tips for staying on plan 7 days a week, not going off plan on the weekend?
Oh yeah. So the weekend is just another day. It's not special. And, I'm still Amy on Saturday and Sunday, or Friday. Some people say Friday at 3 is the weekend, whatever. But I'm still Amy. I'm still a trim, healthy mama all weekend. And that does not change for me. Has it always been that way? No. Did I suffer the consequences? Yes. And ever since I've been able to keep that promise and stay on that path, it's been so helpful to my body, and if I went out, just say I did go off plan on Friday night and it was starchy things, unhealthy carbs, sugary, whatever, an alcoholic drink with a lot of sugar or something, Saturday, still my weekend, is going to be terrible because I'm going to feel bad, and even clients of mine that I've seen that have just been on plan for maybe a week or two and they do that, they still feel those effects. And so I just feel like it's not worth it. And so y'all heard me say, you've done hard things your whole life, you can still do that. And the more weekends in a row that you stay on plan, the easier it's going to get. Mhm.
How do you navigate family that's not necessarily helping your journey
Mhm.
or that's not on plan?
Mhm. I haven't really had that come up personally. I do I do have a couple of family members that have made comments about me and my vegetables or whatever. I made a point to not take it personally because it is what it is. They don't understand, and that's okay. But I've always felt like I've been supported 100%. We're with Wes's parents and his sister and her family often. And I was just sharing, y'all remember we went to that cabin during Thanksgiving week, and I made a completely on-plan Thanksgiving in the kitchen at the cabin. And after the meal was over, I told Wes's dad, I said, "Do you know that was a sugar-free, gluten-free Thanksgiving lunch?" Because we have Thanksgiving lunch. He was like, "What?" He was like, "Well, it was good," you know. So it's so doable. And I teach that in a holiday group specifically because I think it's just encouraging to know that it is doable and you can do it. But when you do run into things like that, I just think if you could just speak with them and explain, I'm just doing this for my health. You don't have to say, "I have to separate fats and carbs and I need to have a non-starchy because Coach Amy had said so. And I need to make sure that I don't fuel every hour." I mean, you don't have to go into all that. You can just say, "I'm choosing to eat healthier food so that my body can be healthier. Can you believe I got to, reduce the amount of my blood pressure pill, or I'm not on this medicine anymore, and I'm going to keep doing it because I feel good." Easy. Or you can say, "My coach said I can't eat that." Y'all can blame it on me. I don't care. That's fine. But I just encourage you to speak with family members, and some of them are not going to understand. And if you already know they ain't going to budge, they're not going to understand, they're going to get their feelings hurt. Sometimes it's better to maybe fuel on the way. So have your sandwich on the way or a smoothie in a cup. Nobody has to know what's in your cup. And then maybe a small portion of the off-plan meal just to keep the peace. I think that's okay too.
So I'll go. What are some tips for fueling your body pre and post workouts?
Oh, look at you asking all that, my muscle girl over there. So for me, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to be at my CrossFit class at 5:30 a.m. I am not waking up any earlier to fuel, but if I were, because I do have to wait an hour because of my thyroid medicine. So by the time I get done with CrossFit, I can have whatever I want, it's fine. But if I were to work out, say at 10 a.m., I would wake up probably at 6 when I normally would wake up, take my pill. I would fuel at 7, and I would probably have an E, because you would want to use those carbs to nourish your adrenals and give you the energy for that workout. And when I would get home from that workout, whether what I do now or this, example, I would have a post-workout recovery for what I do. So if you're just taking a 10-minute walk around your yard, I don't know that it's necessary to be concerned about an E before and a post-workout recovery whey shake, But if you're doing an extra, even if it's the work ends, or if you're going to a class, CrossFit like me, if you're running a couple miles, something like that, it is important to, love on your muscles because we're wanting to build lean muscles. It's very important. And so the easiest thing to do is to have a whey protein shake. And what I do a scoop of that chocolate whey with either water or nut milk. I go in between. I cannot tell you which one I do the most of. And I don't know why I choose them, but I do. It's a little bit of 8 ounces. I chug it. I go get cleaned up, or I have my S meal then, and I don't do the recovery. but it's animal protein that you're wanting. Hint, like if you're doing creamy dreamy, that's not going to help you with your muscle recovery. Mhm. Is that okay? Who's next?
Tell me about inflammation and how THM can help with that.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm a living, breathing testament to that. I just found a picture from, I believe it was the fall festival 8 years ago, maybe, and had my chicken on a stick, very excited. And I'm all sitting like this, trying to look as thin as possible. Made my boobs look even bigger. But what I noticed when I did the comparison with my boiled peanut picture was my hands and my face. Oh my goodness. I text Jennifer and I'm like, look at my hands. Like they were puffy. And even one of my clients' daughters, she hired me for her mom. She commented on my butterfly dress picture, bless it. But she was like, because she's seen me via FaceTime and Zoom and things like that. And she said, I can even tell, because I haven't seen you in a while, that the inflammation has decreased even in your face in the last 6 to 9 months. And I do chalk that up to a supplement that I'm using for my gut called Total Restore by Dr. Gundry. It's on my Amazon storefront. And also trying to incorporate more quinoa and adaptogens. And my go-to adaptogens are leafy greens and berries. See, it doesn't have to be hard. And I will say that my goal of a gallon of water, sometimes a singing canary or DGMS is included in that, a day has really made a lot of difference in my body. Yep.
So since you mentioned water, how much water should we be drinking a day?
Half your body weight in ounces. Pure water, I like to see at least 50 ounces, but more would make me even prouder and happier and pass out gold stars. Yeah.
So how would you describe your THM style and how has that changed from when you first started?
Good question. My style is the Amy way. I don't even know. I don't know. Everybody has their own way, you know, and spending time with you guys, like I know your way, you know my way, and they're all different. They're similar because even interviewing clients, I'm like, oh, you're such a good Coach Amy client. Like, you know, but they don't do everything that I do. So I think my way is I'm organized because I have a plan, but it's okay if I deviate from it a little bit because I'm still going to be on plan. And then I also like to challenge myself. Having been doing this for 6 years almost, things can get a little stagnant with foods and things. And so, and also habits. So that's why I love my 100 Strong so much, is because at the most difficult time of year, I'm challenging myself to do really hard things. And I think it really empowers me to be even better for the next year. At least that's the way I feel about it. And so I think, you know, having that plan, but it's okay if it doesn't if I don't make all the recipes on my menu. I shared that with somebody. Say I was going to make power skillet and that has like 92,000 zucchinis in it. Well, if I don't make power skillet, I have zucchini for the next week with my eggs for breakfast. No big deal. You know, most of the recipes that I use are not going to have these random strange ingredients that I can only use for that recipe. You know, sometimes it happens that way, but not very often. So I do like having that plan in place. And then I grocery shop off of the ingredients for those recipes or meals. You know, if I'm doing boneless burgers, you know, that's what I'm going to do, grocery shop for. And then also having, you know, keeping things fresh, I think. Randomly, you know, in Southern Support, I'll pop up, let's do a GGMS challenge every day, just to kind of get back into that for a second, you know, or okra challenge or a salad a day or something. And that's just me not wanting to be stagnant in my journey. But I have rules for myself, but I also have grace as well. And I think that's really important. I don't know that I could be 100% on plan for the entire year. Last 100 days, sure. I'll push myself to do that because I'm a chocolate chip Christmas cookie girl. Like, and how many daggum Christmas events do we have? I mean, I probably will go to 12 And if I have a cookie at this one, why shouldn't I have one? You know, and so I can see myself, you know, not making good choices. And so that's one of the main reasons I do this. Y'all think it's for y'all. It's really for me. I'm letting y'all in on my secret today, but it's just a really good thing for me to have that. And I also, the personal choice thing is very hot topic, and I don't do them very often. But I do have places for them, and being active is very important too. Mhm. How
What
it's
are-
changed? You asked me that. Sorry, let me finish that one. How it's changed. So when I started THM, I was very frustrated because I did not understand how I was supposed to eat that much food in a day. Like, I'm like, why do you want me to eat this often? I don't understand. And so I really just had to take a step back, take a breath, and realize it was just breakfast, lunch, and dinner and an afternoon snack. You know, can I eat or fuel more than that? Yes. But for me, that's simple. And so really simplifying it, it's just changed. It's been a progression, you know. I've also reduced dairy a lot. You know, one of the videos that a lot of people found me through was my crustless pizza, which is full of cheese. And then, you know, a year later, I'm promoting a dairy-free pizza skillet because cheese is not something I do much of anymore. And so that has changed. And that goes back to the inflammation that I think Teresa asked about, is I reduced dairy. And goat cheese is like, I've never had that before until like the last maybe 6-8 months ago. And now like it's on my grocery order every week.
What are some tips for easing into the plan and not getting overwhelmed?
Yeah, I really think back to that same thing is just trying to learn what fuel category the foods go into and take it. If you're not familiar with that already, just take it one meal at a time. You know, a lot of people go to breakfast, but Talon, I don't know if y'all remember that podcast. She was like, I hated breakfast. I wasn't going to start there. I'm not eating it. So she started with lunch or dinner or whatever. And, you know, just getting and dinner might be easy for more ladies because you've got those great family style recipes that you can make that are similar to normal food, if you will. And so I think I learned the most through the recipes and the ingredients and the cookbooks, you know. And so I just think take it baby steps. You know, a ladder, you know, the rungs, whatever on a ladder are a certain amount, you know, apart from each other on purpose. They're not where you could barely reach. They're done well. Steps on a staircase are done well. And I think taking those small steps, they're just going to keep getting you closer and closer to your goal. And I think that's what's most important. And it doesn't matter how fast you get there.
If you could only pick one special ingredient, which one would it be?
What do y'all think I'm going to say?
Collagen.
Collagen.
Yep. Faux show. Yes. I don't know that I could live without collagen. And that is something that I've had almost every day for 6 years, because when I started, a friend gifted me with some collagen. And I don't think it was THM's, but then later down the road, because I didn't buy stuff for a while, somebody else gave me some THM to use. And so I've had it almost every day somehow. Yep. You too. One of my buds the other night asked me what I did to look as young as I do for my age. And I was like, all I can say is THM and collagen, you know? Yeah.
I seriously thought you were like 25
Oh,
when
you're
I
so
first started working with you.
You're so sweet. One lady, she told me, it was a one-on-one. She goes, I'm gonna have to be honest. I did not want to work with you because you were 20. She said, and then I saw, and I never messaged you. She's like, I never messaged you because you were 20. And she said, then one day I posted something with my age, maybe it was my birthday, you know, 39 or 40 or whatever. And she was like, oh, and she said, and then I was like, why didn't I message her before? And then she remembered it was because I was 20. But anyway, not funny. Crack me up. We
So,
had a good-
I would like to ask you a question about stalling, because inevitably, I feel like in your journey, everybody's gonna stall at some point. So, and I know that this may be different for every person, but what are your maybe general top tips for if you're in a stall, and when does a stall actually start becoming not a stall, but a problem?
Okay. So I really think that what you need to do if you're stalled is look at there's something that you're doing every day that is not working for you. And so some people, it's that coffee that you only have that collagen, and then an hour and a half later, a fueling, S or E. That's very common. Sometimes they're over exercising. Sometimes they're over fueling or under fueling. Sometimes they're not having enough protein. Sometimes they need to have a crossover or two to rev things up. Sometimes they need to eliminate. They're having too many crossovers, and so it's different for everybody. And some people just need to keep going because their body's tired of losing weight right there. And you just keep on plan. And the next thing you know, boop, 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 it's going on down. And that's what I've seen the most. But you can always do things to rev things up. You can increase your water. You can have more deep S and light S and less cream cheese. You can have more veggies. You can have GGMS, which helps with digestion, which that may be your issue. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I was on antibiotics. My gut's wrecked. I need to go love on it a second. Different things like that. Maybe it could even be sleep, Good question.
So what are the advantages to having a coach, either group coaching or one-on-one?
Why don't you answer that? I don't want to answer that.
No, because you get to answer the question.
Oh. Okay. So I never had a coach. Okay. I did have close friends and we were learning together. But from where I sit, the advantage of having a coach is I don't want to say that I have it all figured out, but I know a lot and I've researched a lot. And it's kind of like a case study every day because of the amount of people that I've helped and the stories that I know, like each of you, I can use what you've gone through. I know it. I know what y'all have gone through. And if that comes up with somebody else, I can help them with that. And so, I had a close family member talking about their blood sugar and I'm like, yeah. And I'm blah, blah, and they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, it's what I do. Like, that's what I do all the time. And so that's interesting. And I've had conversations, about hormones and I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, it's what I do. And so I love that the vast knowledge. Do I know everything? No. Can I find it out? Yes. I had a client today asking about how to increase her milk supply. And I'm like, okay, these two things I know for sure, but the rest of it's over here on this thing. Let me read about it and I'll message you back. And I had her answer in 10 minutes, I'm going to do whatever I can to help whoever, but they have to ask. So my request, if you're going to do coaching with me or whoever, especially group, because one-on-one, the coach is in your face, unless you don't answer, of course, but that's crazy on you because you just spent a ton of money. You need to answer the call. But group coaching, it's a little cheaper, right? Sometimes it definitely is a sacrifice for somebody financially, but you have to participate in that. And I tell my buds coming in, look, this is not a fun Tupperware party. This is a class. We're going to have fun, but it's a class and it's your job to learn. I'm showing up. I've got everything preloaded. It's right there for you. You take some time every night. You know what? Y'all scroll Facebook and Reels. Take a time out for 20 minutes every night. Do your homework and then go back to scrolling your Reels, whatever you want to do. Puffy heart mine when you get to it, whatever. Kind of a joke. But gotta lighten the finger waving over there. But I just really think it's just an incredible opportunity to take 6 weeks, especially with buds, and focus on yourself. But that is so hard for women. It is so hard, but it is so worth it. And I just commend all of y'all. I mean, my stars, month after month, you keep paying me. God love your hearts. And apparently I do a pretty good job because I mean, look, it's just, and I get messages from Liz that make me want to bawl my eyes out in between client calls today. It was so precious. Just if nobody's told you today, you're doing a great job and I love you, I mean, I could not ask for a better job. And so I'm somebody, and other coaches too, we love our job and we want to help women. And that's the whole point. Yep. Did I answer that okay?
You did.
Okay. Bonnie, do you have any questions for me?
Just, okay, so explain why, like in the beginning, how it's really hard when you're supposed to have so many protein, so much carbs, so much fat. And a lot of people get really confused about that part. And it's not worth, counting this. How can you figure out if, like how much protein's in something?
Sure. So typically with meat, a handful is going to be what you need for your meal. A handful of meat, no matter what kind it is going to be enough protein for whatever you're having. Protein powders, it's magically written on that label. So just read it. Just learn to read your labels. Did y'all see there's a funny meme? I think that's what it's called. Meme? Yes. And it said, I'm the girl that's late to everything, stuff's at the grocery store, reading all the labels and putting the packages back. Cracked me up. I'm like, that is so me. So me. And so we've just got to learn to read those labels. If you see sugar on there, you put it back. And there's a lot of other things too. If it's more than 5 grams of fat and more than 10 grams of carb, I put it back because it's a crossover. I don't want it. Except for those Mary's crackers. I did get those. But, that's a little joke. But I think, with e-meals, if you're going to make an oatmeal, we add a little bit of fat, a teaspoon of fat to that. And that can be a little sprinkle of pecans or a little teaspoon of coconut oil. And then if we're going to have an S breakfast, like with eggs, we use oil to cook those. We put a non-starchy veggie because that's the right thing to do. You can have a breakfast meat, but we don't put bread and we don't put carby fruits. We can have some berries. And so just taking it one meal at a time, and food knowledge will get you a long way with THM. And just listening, I have a perk of buds and blooms. I have a food list and it says how much of things can go in what fuel. That's another perk of coaching to go there, is that somebody can teach you that and you don't have to figure out on your own. You're saving time. You're spending some money, but you're going to save time. I wish that I'd had a coach. They didn't have coaches when I first started.
Yes, and you do give plenty of information, plenty of sheets for everybody to look at and to follow.
Yeah, thank you. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Who else?
I have another one.
Okay.
How, like, when you reach goal weight, like what you feel is your goal weight at that time, then you stay there for a little while and then you start to obsess, like, maybe should I lose a little more? Doing THM, if you do not do a crossover, will you constantly be losing weight or will your body figure out where your body should be?
Right. Good question. Not necessarily, because y'all know I don't do very many crossovers. And I'm happy at my size. My weight fluctuates. Oh, y'all would all just be so frustrated. That's something I chuckle, when a one-on-one, or she'll say, I gained 0.2 pounds. And I'm like, I gained 2. I mean, well, it's fine. We're women. We fluctuate. The water in our body changes. I make a joke, the tree blew a leaf off and we gained 2 pounds. I mean, it's just the atmosphere. It's maybe I had Mexican the night before and there was MSG and I, got swollen on the inside. Maybe I haven't gone potty right in a couple days, I mean, those with cycles, you've got inflammation, but I really think it's important to maybe not label a weight, but a size. So if you've got these, maybe you have your comparison pants or something. If those pants get a little tight, you might need to tighten up on your fuelings, maybe. Me at goal weight, I do not mind having a crossover every now and then. I had one yesterday for lunch and it was absolutely wonderful. They served me my tropical fajitas and half of a pineapple. It was darling. And I loved it. If I wouldn't have gotten cheese, it would have been very close to an E, maybe a little bit over. But, I think it's okay to do that because you've worked hard to get where you are. And crossovers are yummy and enjoyable. But I don't know that at goal weight, you need to have a crossover every day. Everyone's different. Your metabolism might be really high and you can handle that. Other people can't. So, it's just different. But I think it's important to just make sure you've got a good perspective about it. You said obsessed, thinking about it all the time. That's not necessarily healthy. When we're thinking about, obsessing over something, there's usually a little issue there. And so we just got to have a little one-on-one talk with ourselves or talk with a trusted friend or something and kind of make a plan for what that needs to be. But, maybe track your meals, get on 8 app, kind of see what it is you're doing and go from there. Yeah, because my weight fluctuates like crazy. Anybody else?
What Trim Healthy Mama treats do your kids love?
So not 100% on plan, but they love the Lily's milk covered caramels. And it makes me very mad when they sneak them. Very mad indeed. But they do love those. Gosh. I can't really think of anything 100% on plan that all of them love. They do like the crossover things that I'll make from time to time, like the apple crumble or blueberry things I make for Wes, like they'll like that. I'm trying, y'all know I don't make a lot of desserts. They love the overnight cinnamon squares. They'll eat that. Like I won't have any left and I'm mad at everybody. For sure, that is one that they do love. They do love the overnight cinnamon squares. They all make on plan shakes. Always. If they're any of them are making a shake, it's on plan for sure. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that's it. Oh, and they love my gum. I do not like, this is the bubble gum. Gross. I don't want it. I want cinnamon. But the boys, every day after school, they come in and get a piece of gum. And my girls, they like the mint ones and they have those. So I will say they all like the gum, which makes me happy that they're having that. It's much better for them. Good question.
Which one is your favorite cookbook?
Oh man, Trim Healthy Future.
Yeah, mine too.
Why?
Because I love Rashida. No, I do. She's my friend. Y'all, I need her to have that baby so she can write that next cookbook. But I think it's just a fresh perspective and things I've never thought about. And those overnights really changed my life. Mini quiche. It's amazing. I already talked about that. Greek soup, baked spaghetti, eggplant parm. I could go on and on. The air fried section. Oh my golly. That air fried apple. Whoo, that's some good stuff. And then her sippers. Being able to prep a half or a whole gallon sipper in my refrigerator and just pour out of it. Whoo, if I can cook or prep once and use it all week, I'm done. Yes, sign me up for that. So yeah, that's why. There we go. I figured it out. Anything else, girls? We've been talking for 45 minutes. That's crazy. Any last questions? What do people need to know about me? They probably know. I don't hold much back.
I don't have anything else.
You don't have anything else? Okay. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. This was great. I have another one scheduled in a couple weeks. I don't know when it'll come out, like air or whatever, but I haven't got that far. But thank y'all so much for doing this. And thank y'all for trusting me for so long with your journey. Like, it really means a lot to me. And realizing, Mercy, Bonnie and I, we didn't even realize until we finished recording her podcast that she had been with me that long. I
Time
think that
goes very fast.
yes, I think Gina McIntosh is a little longer than you because she started in June of 2020 with Cooking with Coach Amy.
Oh,
Yes, I did that. That was during COVID summer, and everybody was bored. And I told Wes, I said, I'm going to do a cooking class for 2 weeks. And he went, okay. And then the next thing I know, boom. And I had I had 7 kids at my house because my 5 and my brother's 2 girls were here often. And I just figured it out. And the next thing I know, I'm separating into buds and blooms, and here we are now. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful ride. Overwhelming some days, lots of tears, but so worth it, especially all of you guys that have just, like, my life is so rich because of all y'all, for sure. Yep.
Well,
Y'all wanna
thank you so much for everything that you do for us.
It is my pleasure, for sure. I need y'all to come to my
I
house.
agree.
I need to give y'all hugs. What, Liz?
No, I was gonna say, I agree. Thank you for everything, because I certainly wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you. So,
You're so welcome.
I love you, and I appreciate you and all of my new THM friends that I met through your community. It's it really is just amazing and incredible. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. Thank you.
Brittany, was it you that talked about recently something about the community I had built or something? Was that
Yes.
you that posted that? When I read that, I was like, I did build that. Like, it's I don't know if it's like an out of body experience or something, but I mean, I know that I created the group, but but it's
But it's more than a group. It's more than a
it's a
group.
family. It's a family. Yeah. And if you are part of that, if you're a part of my community of past and present clients, I call them VIPs, get active in that thing. There's 710, and I think I talk to the same 30 every day. I mean, like, come on. Can y'all believe I have 710 people in a group that's done coaching? And Wes and I did the numbers not too long ago. There's actually been 1,000 people at least go through one of my coaching programs. 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know where that 300, why they aren't in my community. Maybe they didn't like me enough. That's okay. Not everybody's cup of tea. And guess what? I am okay with that. But it is. Thank you. When I read that, thank you, Brittany, because that really made me realize and reflect, and thank God for the opportunity. It's incredible. I'm kind of speechless when it comes to all that.
well, you work really hard.
Thank you, Mama Bonnie.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah, you is. I'm sorry. Hey, she's taking me to Aruba one day, y'all. She's my girl. She's like,
That's
you want to
not
be my
bad.
daughter? Don't tell my mama, but sure.
There you go.
We could do a retreat in Aruba.
There we
can plan it.
go.
There we go.
plan
I'm
it.
in.
I'm not doing
That
it.
would be
Y'all can
nice.
plan it. Let me know when it is. Jennifer and I are going to Orlando with the girls. They're dancing at what's it called? Universal. And I said, I want to fly, but I don't want to deal with booking the airplane tickets and all that. She went, oh, I can do that. So she actually did it last night. I was like, just tell me how much I owe. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Anyway. Oh my gosh. All right. Anything else, y'all? Thank y'all again. Y'all want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.